Local 10 is investigating after a Tamarac man claims he called BSO when somebody was breaking into his home, and nobody ever responded, even though more than a dozen deputies were nearby. Now he's got a lot of questions for the sheriff. Local 10 investigator Larry Livingston joining us now live with more on this.
Thank goodness for hurricane impact doors and windows and glass, because had this not been here, this situation could have turned out entirely differently than it did. While the man on the other side of that glass was on the phone for nearly 20 minutes with 911 dispatchers, so were several of his neighbors in this cul-de-sac, all of them wanting to know where were the deputies. One neighbor even called twice.
Is that him?
Yeah, he's throwing rocks at the door. Get your officers there quick.
You're hearing and seeing it. 70-year-old Bill Norkunas lived it, survived it.
I pointed the handgun through the glass at his face, and I said, "Go away or I will shoot you."
Yeah, he's still standing right here trying to open it up, and I'm showing him the gun. There's something wrong.
Around 9:30 back on November 7th, Bill had just stepped out of the shower. His security cameras rolling when a man starts bashing his front door with a brick trying to get in. Bill spent nearly 15 minutes on the phone with 911 dispatchers, naked, on crutches, with a gun pointed at that suspect.
And all the while, I've got 911 on my cell phone, and I'm looking down the road, and no deputies. Nobody came.
A few of Bill's neighbors called for help too, as that would-be intruder continued his barrage. Listen to this exchange.
Ma'am, it's ridiculous. They are there. Like I said, they have to set up around the area.
I live on a cul-de-sac. I don't see any police anywhere.
BSO sent me a statement saying a thorough review of how deputies handled this response began within days of the incident. That review is ongoing. BSO says it responds to tens of thousands of calls for service each year. The vast majority of these calls are handled appropriately with satisfactory outcomes. BSO says it constantly reviews and assesses its responses to emergency calls in order to provide the highest level of service to the public. 23-year-old Timothy Johnson was eventually arrested after he reportedly walked up the street away from Bill's house. Bill's confidence, though, forever shaken.
But don't depend on 911. Have a backup plan.
And during that 911 call that we listened to, you eventually hear those dispatchers off in the background. You hear them say, "Oh, it seems the suspect is now in custody," while Bill is still waiting for deputies to eventually arrive. In fact, they showed up on his Ring camera here shortly thereafter. In the meantime, he says he's not heard from them since this incident, and we're still waiting to see what the results of that review will be. If we get that information, we'll definitely pass it along to you right here on Local 10 and at local10.com. For now, we're live here in Tamarac. Larry Livingston, Local 10 News.